The video review will start in a few seconds, but if you're watching this on YouTube, remember, if you have a question, comment, or suggestion for me, you can post it on 3dgameman.com, and the link is provided below. Hello again, I'm Rodney Reynolds from 3dgameman.com, and welcome to another video review. Today I'm looking at the NZXT HALE90 version 2 1000 watt power supply. Super clean looking box. It even has plastic on the outside. That's great because you know nobody else has been inside of it. Note that there's a small window here so you can kind of see the power supply inside the box. As well, there is lots of features, specifications, and pictures of the product on the box. And there's even a security seal. Now let me go ahead and open this up and see what's inside. Included is a carry pouch, and this holds all of the modular leads. Just open up so you can have a peek inside. There they are. As well, they've got a little slip here which shows that it has passed all the tests. The user's manual, as well as a power cord, 4 black screws, as well as 5 cable ties. They have the power supply packaged very well in foam. And the power supply is also in a plastic bag. Now let's have a closer look at this power supply. The Hale version 2 line of power supplies are currently available in 3 wattages, 850, 1000, and 1200. I'll be reviewing the 1000 watt model today. Now, how is this wattage determined? Well, to understand that, you need to know what rails are. And rails are basically well-regulated transformers which convert domestic current into the voltages that your computer system can use, and there are essentially 2 different rails, the 3.3/5 volt rail and the 12 volt rail. Now in this particular case, the approximate maximum peak output of the 3.3/5 volt rail is 150 watts, and the 12 volt is 996 watts, which is essentially how the wattage of this power supply is determined. The 3.3/5 volt rail is responsible for the motherboard, memory, PCI cards, and so on, while the 12 volt rail is responsible for the hard drives, optical drives, fans, CPU, video cards, etc. It's also important to know the peak amps on each rail. The plus 3.3 volt and the plus 5 volt rails are both 30 amps each, and it has a very strong single plus 12 volt rail which is 83 amps. There are a number of important things to remember when selecting a power supply. The first is wattage. Determine how much wattage you're going to require by the amount of hardware that you will be installing. Now, generally speaking, a medium to high-end gaming rig would require a 500 to 700 watt power supply. For a hardcore system, select a power supply that's around 800 watts. If, however, you are building an extreme gaming rig with a top-of-the-line multiple video card setup with lots of other hardware, select a power supply that's 1000 watts or greater. Second, it should be at or above 80% efficiency at typical load. Now, this power supply's efficiency is 91.45% at 50% load, but the average efficiency is 90.02%. Third, it should meet the latest ATX and other current standards, environmental directives over voltage, under voltage, and other protections. This power supply meets all current standards. Fourth, I'd recommend choosing a power supply that has APFC. APFC, or active power factor correction, assists the power supply in being more efficient and therefore stable under load. APFC basically reduces total harmonics, corrects input voltage, and allows for full input voltage range. Thankfully, this power supply has APFC. There are 3 main certifications: 80+, NVIDIA SLI, and AMD Crossfire. Now, many of today's high-end power supplies will meet one or more of these certifications, and this power supply meets the 80+ gold certification. Sixth, you should look for a power supply that has Japanese capacitors, because this ensures a much more reliable product than a power supply with low-grade capacitors. Finally, get a power supply that has enough leads for your setup. Also consider a power supply that has a modular design, which this one does, because it reduces the cable mess inside of the case. Now, also, it's important to get a power supply with an excellent warranty. And this particular power supply comes with a fantastic, no-hassle 5-year warranty. Now, speaking of warranty, their power supply service program is second to none. They want to get you up and running as soon as possible, and they will cover the cost of shipping both ways. All you have to do is scan your invoice or register the product at NZXT.com, print off the pre-shipping label, pack up your dead power supply in the original retail box, and then schedule a pickup or drop it off at your local FedEx. How cool is that? This power supply has a beautiful white finish, and the housing is steel. They include a very quiet 135 millimeter fan, and there's also lots of ventilation holes, so this power supply should remain cool in almost any environment. Also note, here's the power cable connection and the power switch. Now just have a look at the overall styling on this power supply. Most power supplies, well, you know, they're just painted black, white, whatever color, and there's no real thought gone into design because, in fact, it's inside of your case, so I guess it doesn't matter a whole lot. Well, it does, I guess, if you have a case with a window and, you know, you can see inside. Well, look at this. They've got these rubber inserts on both sides, the back and the front. Even here, where the modular leads get connected. It looks quite nice. This power supply is 100% modular, which is so convenient. Modular leads are simply fantastic because you only need to use the ones required for your particular setup, which reduces the cable mess and thus increases airflow inside of the case. Now have a look at these modular leads. They are pretty much all flat and flexible, except for the main motherboard lead, and this one is sleeved. Finally, have a listen to the 135 millimeter fan. Now, the Hale 90 version 2 series of power supplies are pretty hardcore, so most people probably will not be using them in basic systems. And by that, I mean mom and pop computer systems or computer systems that you're not gaming on or you're not doing a tremendous amount of CPU, GPU intensive work. In other words, if you're a hardcore gamer and enthusiast, you're probably going to go with these power supplies, one of them. Remember, they've got an 850, 1000, and 1200 watt power supply. These power supplies provide ample power. It is clean. Speaking of clean, the overall styling, build quality, and look on these power supplies, I think, is excellent, especially if you're going for a white case. I think it would look exceptional, a white-black theme. Also, this power supply meets all of the standards and so on and so forth. Comes with a 135 millimeter quiet fan grill. There's nothing not to like about this power supply. So if you are in the market for a high wattage power supply, then this might just be for you. Overall, this is a 100% kick-ass product. Until next time, take care. I hope you enjoyed this video review, and please note that pricing for this product is available on the 3D Game Man video review page.